The year is 1773. Imagine a world without America as we know it. The 13 colonies are under British rule, but a storm is brewing. King George III and the British Parliament need money. They have been taxing the colonies to pay for wars and expenses. The colonists feel it is unfair to be taxed without representation in Parliament. No taxation without representation becomes a rallying cry. Among these taxes is one on tea. Tea is a beloved drink enjoyed by colonists of all classes. The Tea Act of 1773 gives the British East India Company a monopoly on tea sales in the colonies. This means colonists can only buy tea from this one company, even if it's more expensive. The colonists see this as a blatant attempt to control their trade and increase British profits at their expense. Resentment simmers, ready to boil over. In the heart of Boston, a group of patriots gathers in secret. They call themselves the Sons of Liberty. These men are not afraid to stand up for their rights. They believe in liberty and justice, and they are willing to fight for it. Samuel Adams, a passionate leader, rallies the Sons of Liberty. Paul Revere, a skilled silversmith, uses his craft to spread the word of resistance. Whispers of protest turn into plans for action. They decide to stage a bold demonstration against the Tea Act. Their goal is not to start a war, but to send a message that the colonists will not be treated unfairly. The Sons of Liberty know they must act carefully. They need to make a statement without resorting to violence. On a cold December night, December 16, 1773, a group of colonists disguised as Native Americans board 3 ships docked in Boston Harbor. These are no ordinary natives. They are Sons of Liberty in disguise. They carry with them a sense of purpose and a touch of trepidation. The ships, the Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver, hold chests upon chests of tea. Under the cover of darkness, they silently and swiftly move across the decks. With each heave, chests of tea plunge into the icy water. The air is thick with tension, the only sounds the lapping of waves and the splintering of wood. Over 342 chests of tea, worth a fortune, are dumped into the harbor. The colonists send a clear message: they will not be ruled by unjust laws. News of the Boston Tea Party spreads like wildfire throughout the colonies and across the Atlantic Ocean. The British are outraged. They see this act of defiance as a threat to their authority. King George III is furious. He demands that the colonists be punished for their audacity. The colonists, however, are proud of what they have done. They see it as a victory for freedom. The event becomes a powerful symbol of colonial resistance. It emboldens others who share the colonists' grievances against British rule. The stage is set for a showdown between a mighty empire and its rebellious colonies. Section 5. The Iron Fist, Britain's Intolerable Acts. The British Parliament responds with fury to the Boston Tea Party. They pass a series of laws known as the Coercive Acts, which the colonists angrily call the Intolerable Acts. These acts are designed to punish the colonists for their defiance. One act closes the port of Boston, crippling the city's economy. Another act restricts colonial self-government in Massachusetts. The colonists are outraged. They see these acts as an attack on their freedoms. They realize that if they do not stand up to the British now, they will lose their liberties forever. The Intolerable Acts backfire. Instead of isolating Boston, they unify the colonies in opposition to British rule. Other colonies send aid to Boston, demonstrating their solidarity. Section 6. A nation divided. The colonies react with fury. The Intolerable Acts are like a match thrown onto dry tinder. The colonies erupt in protest. From Massachusetts to Georgia, colonists denounce the British actions. They form committees of correspondence to share information and coordinate their resistance. The idea of a Continental Congress, a gathering of representatives from all 13 colonies, begins to take shape. The First Continental Congress convenes in Philadelphia in 1774. Delegates from 12 colonies, with Georgia abstaining, meet to discuss how to respond to the crisis. They draft a Declaration of Rights and Grievances, asserting their rights as Englishmen. They agree to boycott British goods until their demands are met. The colonies are no longer a collection of disparate entities. They are uniting under a common cause. Section 7. Seeds of Unity. Finding common ground in oppression. The Intolerable Acts, intended to punish and isolate, have an unintended consequence. They force the colonies to set aside their differences and unite in the face of a common enemy. The spirit of cooperation spreads beyond the halls of Congress and into the homes and taverns of ordinary people. What began as a local protest against a tea tax has transformed into a movement for self-determination. The colonists realize that their struggle is not just about tea or taxes but about fundamental rights and freedoms. They begin to question the very legitimacy of British rule. The seeds of a revolution, planted long ago, are beginning to sprout. Section 8. The March to Revolution. A chain of unintended consequences. The British, misjudging the colonists' resolve, continue to tighten their grip. Each attempt to quell dissent only fuels the flames of rebellion. Tensions escalate further in April 1775, when British troops clash with colonial militiamen in Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts. The shot heard round the world marks the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. The colonists, once divided by regional loyalties and economic interests, find themselves united in a fight for their independence. The Boston Tea Party, once a seemingly isolated act of defiance, becomes a pivotal event in the long and arduous struggle for American freedom. Section 9. Legacy of Defiance. The enduring spirit of the Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party stands as a testament to the power of ordinary people to resist injustice and fight for their rights. It reminds us that even seemingly small acts of defiance can have far-reaching consequences. The spirit of the Boston Tea Party lives on, inspiring generations to stand up for what they believe in. It serves as a reminder that the fight for liberty and justice is an ongoing struggle. The story of the Boston Tea Party is not just a tale from the past, it's a call to action for every generation to safeguard their freedoms and hold their leaders accountable. The legacy of that cold December night in 1773 continues to shape the values and identity of a nation.